Good morning, children. Venugopal sir here. In the previous class, we completed the discussion and comprehension of the B reading of 5th unit, The Storied House, Part 2. Now, in this class, we are going to discuss vocabulary. As I told you several times, children, vocabulary and grammar exercises in every unit are very important from the examination point of view. So, in the vocabulary part, the first Roman number or the first item given is compound adjectives. Let me remind you that both in 8th class and 9th class, we discussed compound words. Compound words are the words which are made up of two or more than two words, but which are treated as a single word or a single unit. In the same way, compound adjectives are made up of two or more than two adjectives before a noun. Adjective is a word which qualifies a noun, which determines a noun. Okay, children. So, a compound adjective can be defined like this. A compound adjective is made by joining two or more adjectives before a noun. In our lesson, there are several compound adjectives. I repeat, compound words or compound adjectives are made up of two or more than one words, two or more than two words, but treated as a single word. So, sometimes you can see the compound adjectives like this joined by a hyphen. You can look at this hyphen, three-portioned, two-storied, like that. The meaning of the compound adjective may be different from the meaning of its components. What do you mean by components? Suppose this compound adjective is made up of two words, three portioned. When you take these two words separately, they may give different meanings, but together they completely give another meaning there. That's what he says. The meaning of the compound adjective may be different from the meanings of its components. Compound adjectives may have a hyphen, you can see that there, between them, as in three-portioned house or a housewarming ceremony. You can see that housewarming ceremony. See the hyphen here. Now, there is a paragraph given and some 6 compound adjectives are given, and we have to read through the paragraph and fill in the blanks with appropriate compound adjectives. Let us see what compound adjectives are given there in the box. 35-year-old man, soft-spoken words, waterproof watch, lifetime desire, two-storied house, open-minded person. So, let us look at the paragraph there. Raghu was a dash. A 35-year-old man. First blank. What should we write there? Of course, children, you can easily write this exercise. Raghu was a 35-year-old man. He was an open-minded person because an is there. And an is generally followed by words which begin with vowels or vowel sounds. Among these 6 compound adjectives given there in the box, only one word begins with O, open-minded. So, the second blank we should write he was an open-minded person. He was a hard-working person. He was loved by all for his dash. Soft-spoken words. He always used to speak very softly. So, he was loved by all for his soft spoken words. He built a dash in his village. two-storied house. What did he build in his village? He built a storied house in his village, two-storied house. It was his dash, lifetime desire. It was his lifetime desire. On the day of the housewarming ceremony, one of his friends presented him with a dash, waterproof watch. Waterproof is the adjective there, compound adjective, watch is the noun. On the day of the housewarming ceremony, one of his friends presented him with a waterproof watch. He felt very happy and thanked him. Okay, children, in this 35-year-old man, 35, can see that there, an hyphen there in every compound adjective. It is made up of two words. So, like that we have to complete the paragraph using the appropriate compound adjectives. Now, let us go to second point or second topic of this vocabulary part, phrasal verbs. Yes. Yes. Yes, children, the second topic in the vocabulary part of this lesson is phrasal verbs. I think I need not remind again and again that we discussed phrasal verbs both in 8th class and 9th class textbooks. Phrasal verbs, a phrase generally is a word which consists of two or more than two words, but it is treated as a single word only. In the same way, a phrasal verb is a verb which is generally followed by a preposition or an adverbial particle. And another important thing that I told you about phrasal verbs is that phrasal verbs are written separately, means words are written separately, but they are always read together as a single word. Not only that, they give us a single independent unit of making. Okay, single independent unit of meaning. Even though it is made up of two words, sometimes more than two words, when a verb is followed by either a preposition or an adverbial particle, it is called a phrasal verb. And a phrasal verb, the words of the phrasal verbs give a single independent unit of meaning, even though they have got two or more than two words. And if you take the words separately, they give different meanings. If they are taken as a single unit, they give a completely different meaning. This is the importance of phrasal verbs. And another point that we discussed about phrasal verbs is that phrasal verbs are written separately but always read together. Here are a few examples. Look at here, page number 149. A, give out means to come to an end, to be completely used up. There are, of course, several words which can be converted into phrasal verbs by adding some prepositions or adverbial particles like this, give out. Give out, there are two meanings. If you look at the dictionary under the word give, you can find all the phrasal verbs related to the word give. Okay, children. In the same way, look at the example given there. After a month of their food supplies gave out. After a month, their food supplies gave out, means their food supplies were completely used up. They came to an end. In the same way, sentence B you see, set aside. Kondiba Patil tells Bayaji that simply because you have set aside some money, Bayaji, you shouldn't lose your head. Like that he says, set aside means what? To save something for future needs. When you set aside some money, you are saving the money there for future needs. Look at the example sentence there. She set aside money for her future needs. So, even though set aside they are written separately, we should read it as set aside. There are two types of phrasal verbs. One is inseparable phrasal verbs. Inseparable phrasal verbs, as in sentence A, the lexical part of the phrasal verb cannot be separated from the preposition that accompanies it. See, gave out. For example, inseparable means what? They cannot be separated. The words in a phrasal verb, if they cannot be separated, they are called inseparable phrasal verbs. If those can be separated and still can be used, they are called separable phrasal verbs. These are the two different types of phrasal verbs that we have. Inseparable phrasal verbs, as in sentence A, you can see that there, the lexical part of the phrasal verb cannot be separated from the preposition that accompanies it. So, you cannot write after a month, their food gave supplies out, like that. You cannot separate the two words in the phrasal verbs. For example, she takes after her mother. What do you mean by takes after? What's the meaning of take after? Children, do you remember? Take after means to resemble. She takes after her mother means she resembles her mother in every aspect. The mannerisms. పోలి ఉండటం అంటాం తెలుగు దాన్ని, పోలికలు ఉండటం. Whereas separable phrasal verbs, the object may come after the lexical part of the phrasal verb, or it may come after the phrasal verb. You can look at that there. He brought his son up. Of course, it can be written he brought up his son. But here, these phrasal verbs can be separated. Means sometimes the object may come after the lexical part of the phrasal verb. You can see he brought his son up is equal to he brought up his son. There is no difference in the meaning. But such kind of phrasal verbs can be separated. She filled up her form, or she filled her form up. Like that, you can separate the phrasal verbs into two parts like that. Both are correct. She filled up her form, or she filled her form up. Sentence C, he burnt him up. He burnt him up means what? But you cannot write here, this particular phrasal verb cannot be written as he burnt up him. No, he burnt him up. The house was set on fire. Set on is a phrasal verb there. So, as you can see in sentence C above, if the verb in a phrasal verb is followed by a pronoun, the particle can change its position. As you can see in sentence C above, he burnt him up. If the verb in phrasal verb is followed by a pronoun, see, the verb is followed by a pronoun here. Him is a pronoun. So, he burnt him up. Okay, children. Now, a very important exercise given in A bit. Guess the meaning of the following phrasal verbs and then check them with the help of a dictionary. Rewrite the sentences that followed using the phrasal verbs. Okay, how to write this particular exercise? Let me explain. There are some 10 phrasal verbs given in the box there. And the sentences, in the 10 sentences, we have to appropriately insert suitable phrasal verbs whose explanations are given there in the sentences. You understand, children? The explanations are given in the sentences. That explanation we have to remove and use an appropriate phrasal verb to rewrite the sentence. Is it okay? Look at this. For example, the farmer threatened to make his dogs to attack us. The farmer threatened to make his dogs to attack us. Means what? The farmer threatened that I will set my dogs on you. Set on. So the farmer threatened to set his dogs on us. Like that, we need to rewrite the if you look at this sentence, children, the farmer threatened to make his dogs attack us. When you threaten somebody to make something attack you, that is nothing but setting the dogs or setting something on you. The farmer threatened to make his dogs attack us. We replaced it and we used a phrasal verb there, threatened to set his dogs on us. This is how you need to write the sentences in the notebook, children. Very carefully listen to me. We need to understand the phrasal verbs meanings first. Then we write the remaining sentences, replacing the explanations with suitable phrasal verbs. Next, second sentence. I went to the airport to say goodbye to my uncle. I went to the airport to see my uncle off. See off means what? Send off. I went to the airport to see my uncle off. That's what we have to write. Second sentence. Third sentence. We had to wait near the office until it was opened. We had to hang around the office until it was opened. Hang around. Bayaji had not needed to hang around in Bombay because he had retired from service. I think you remember, children, that one. Fourth sentence. I fell into a light sleep by the end of the film. Fell into a light sleep is nothing but I dropped off. That is nothing but dozed off. I dropped off by the end of the film. I dropped off means I went into a light sleep. Number 5, new schools are beginning to exist now. New schools are springing up now. Beginning to exist means springing up. New schools are coming up like mushrooms, like that people generally comment. Number 6, we decided to finish the work by 5 p.m. We decided to wind up the work by 5 p.m. Wind up means finish. So you have to write wind up for the 6th sentence. 7th one, his shoes have become very thin, they are no longer used. Wore out. His shoes have worn out. You have to use appropriate verb forms of the phrasal verbs very carefully. His shoes have worn out, they are no longer used. Worn out means what? Something that cannot be used any longer. Sentence number 8, she left the meeting quickly to pick up her daughter. She dashed off. Left the meeting quickly means dashed off to pick up her daughter. Number 9, the wedding is postponed to next month. The wedding is put off. Put off means to postpone. The wedding is put off to next month. Number 10, the bus dashed him and he fell down on the road. The bus knocked him down on the road. Okay, children, with that we come to the end of this particular exercise. Let us complete the remaining exercise in the next class. Thank you.